The summer season is on its way out the door as fall reigns in, and with that leaves us with fond thoughts of its lineup. Among various anime, we had a multitude of teams to leave the season with really great episodes, and as tradition, we are brought back here once more. After doing rewatches and discussion among peers, I have once again compiled my list, and with that, here are my choices for the best episodes for Summer of Anime 2024.
むつみたちのいるこの当たり前を守るんだ
Mission Yozakura Family is one of the only series now within Jump that's hanging out with Black Clover in terms of its longevity. While the manga is now in its final act, the anime adaptation has been slowly pushing into some of its best early content, and episode 20 titled Sun Earrings did just that. Taiyo vs. the White Snake was a clash of not only emotions, but a turning point for painful truths to be revealed. The majority of the early series has slowly been building up to discover what truly happened to the Asano family, and in the face of truth lies complicated action. With the loss of his previous normal gave room for new conviction to take place as Taiyo stands firm to protect his new life with the Yozakura family. Animator Koji Ito bringing one of the best moments to life with a strong OST to combine Taiyo's swordsman skills plus a newfound power as the Amaterasu spread makes way. Everything from the storyboard to the direction of the episode was astounding, and considering I was looking forward to this moment a lot, I couldn't be more happier. Yozakura Family will end up being one of Weekly Shonen Jump's underrated stories, but even so, it's a damn good one, and I hope to see the adaptation continue further with the story of the romance between the sun and the moon.
それでもまだ
This has been a heck of a year to be part of My Hero Academia's journey. The manga has finally wrapped up, movie 4 is but around the corner, and season 7 has arguably been the best the series has ever been in years. A new director, a passionate staff, and an all-out war to bring the events of the story home. Episode 11 for season 7, titled Light Fades to Rain, is one of the most emotional episodes in the series, and of all characters for Katsuki Bakugo. Bakugo's character arc has been a slow and steady transformation from his bullying to his acceptance to his repentance and now his sacrifice. The symbol of victory taking a front row seat in Deku's shoes, putting his life on the line even in the face of absolute death to protect everyone. Not even his quirk's improvement would be enough to stop Shigaraki, and in his final moments we are reminded that beyond all that rage is just another fanboy doing his best. OST usage being absolutely perfect, and in this episode people were left in shock to see that even just for a second, My Hero Academia would go this far to essentially bench Bakugo for majority of the arc. And what followed right after was the showdown that everyone has been waiting on.
は 緑谷いずく
Episode 13, titled A Chain of Events Across the Ages, brought the long-awaited beatdown from Deku and the debut of the final quirk from the second One For All user known as Gearshift. One Piece fans, this may shock you, but Oda did not invent gears. It's a quirk that ignores the laws of velocity and inertia, and combined with all the powers within One For All, delivered an episode you couldn't help but to be pumped for. Animator Kohei Hirota delivering a Nakamura-pilled sequence for one of Deku's most powerful blows yet as he kicks into overdrive. Not only bringing Yusei Run back, but also messing around with some color changes to give off the unique rainbow effect of One For All. The story of these two quirks have lived on for generations now, and this fight is the beginning of the end for the long war against one another. We still have a lot more to get through as we push towards the end, but for what it's worth, I'm glad My Hero Academia still manages to go beyond where it can, and it's gonna be an emotional day when we truly say farewell for the final time.
技の翼ここまで咲くか
Sengoku Yoko had managed to surpass my expectations multiple times in part 1, and to nobody's surprise, that trend continues in this second half of the story. Episode 6, titled Above the Clouds, is a lot. Two major battles taking place as Senya battles Muto for Tsukiko's safety, and the shogunate Ashikaga Yoshiteru fights to his death. Senya's pursuit to become human and understand the joy of fighting, while Yoshiteru dances to his death while radiating demonic aura, is a poetic parallel and and the presentation was off the charts. This show is easily one of my favorite White Fox projects yet that is not ReZero, and honestly, it's about time something new showed out. This story constantly dives into themes of humanity and how the existence of Kotowara can manage to strip or coexist with one's own, and among victory and defeat still lies this sadness that will leave you silent by the end of the episode. Ashikaga Yoshiteru was actually a real individual serving as the 13th shogunate of his domain from 1546 to 1565. To see a take on his story with its narrative twist brought to life with such immense valor not only enhanced the way he lived but his final moments as well. Episodes like this are why I love anime, for how it can make me feel once the credits start rolling, and once again shows how Sengoku continues to be an awesome adaptation.
そんなひどいこと考えちゃって。
You know, even though I just made a video talking about too many losing heroines, I really cannot emphasize enough just how good episode 7 is. Between romance, communication, a troubled heart, it all leads to some tough times ahead, but how you confront it is what really brings it all together. Episode 7, titled The Other Side of a Happy Ending, took us on an emotional roller coaster with Lemon and her childhood love, Mitsuki. Two people with opposite ways of living, but as they always say, opposites do attract, and these two were a classic case. There's a common belief people have where it could be the right people but not the right time, as Lemon's emotions were only growing despite Mitsuki being in a relationship. Trying her best to suppress how she really felt only caused it to eventually overwhelm her, and at that point there really wasn't any point of running away from the problem at hand. It takes honesty and maturity to really have that tough discussion with the person you care about, though it may not end up with a happily ever after ending, but that's something Lemon faced head on. The two getting the words out that they needed to hear after so much time had passed, and settling on accepting the present as it is while cherishing the innocence that was their first affection for each other. On an emotional level, this episode rocks, and it's no wonder this anime gathered so much attention for the summer season. We get romance comedies all year long, but the ones that truly define a season manage to stand out for a reason, and with this episode, you can truly make a case here.
ありがとう、ユリウス。君の魔法のおかげで頭が冷えた。
The Magic Academy setting always succeeds to scratch that fantasy world itch. Toss in some of the classic tropes with a pretty lively anime, and you got yourself a recipe for a good time looking at Wistoria, Wand, and Sword. In a time period where people are judgmental about every little aspect of a story, I always like to remind myself that it's fine for a story to accomplish what it sets out to do, even if the premise is not crazy ambitious, and for the time being, that seems to be the case here. Will being the magicless student and yet the overlooked warrior that he truly is isn't something that we are new to, but the execution of it all is what makes the journey fun no matter how many times we may see it. Dungeon fights, hating teachers, and of course the classic tournament arc setting. Episode 7, titled 12 Secret Ice Magics, put Will against one of the top students being an ice user to parallel his childhood genius friend now awaiting his presence at the height of standing in this magic world. A classic showcase of what it means to be outclassed, as Will's hard work, determination, and unshakable resolve led to humbling Julius and practically embarrassing him. Can't stretch it further than the truth that Will put on a performance of a lifetime, giving us the full array of his swordsman skills and a punch that reminded you of One Piece's most satisfying. With the entire student body now aware of his skills and even recruiters keeping him on the radar, he's getting closer to his big goal as Alfaria awaits her one and only true lone sword.
私は私が一番目立つように戦う。
I'll be frank, Oshinoko has had a couple of good episodes this season, and I can't even be surprised. The show, in my opinion, excels the most when it focuses on the hardships and brutal truths that stir within the entertainment industry, and episode 7, titled Sun, gives us that and a whole lot more through Akane's perspective. We know that both Akane and Kana have a thing for Aqua, but the real beef happens to be on a much more professional level. With Akane being inspired by Kana from such a young age, it's only natural that when you finally have arrived on the same stage of the person who inspired you, you'd want to challenge them and even surpass them if possible. The spirit of competition brings out the best qualities possible, and from Akane's childhood origin to the big stage, she absolutely owned the episode in a way where she never has before. It's impressive and also humbling in the eyes of Kana, but even so, Akane is not here to provide some humbling experience. She wants to see the actress she fell for and is willing to bring that out no matter what. It's a perspective that Aqua can get down with as well, as the two fight to bring her talent out by any means possible. Impressed is the only way I can describe myself this season, as putting on a performance with such ambition is really cool, but when that's your bread and butter, what else should I have expected? Elusive Samurai has been one heck of a surprise this summer. A series that truthfully has been slept on within Weekly Shonen Jump now has come swinging with an adaptation that has been eye candy for majority of its season. After watching episode 9 titled My Buddha, you can see the potential in play for the bigger events in the future. The main crew fighting off a group of bandits in defense of their territories led to Tokiyuki's first real one-on-one against Shokin. There goes a saying, as I'm not stuck in here with you, you're stuck in here with me, and that applies to this episode perfectly. The depiction of speed and creativity drawn within Tokiyuki's fighting style was crazy good, with the animation side of Twitter giving much praise to the strobing Zoetrope effect. A deadly blade in the hands of such a cheerful boy struck the impression of Buddha and Shokin, and you really cannot get much cooler than that. This fight is but one of the highlights of the episode, but easily stood out among all of them, and it's evident that the Elusive Samurai staff understand the assignment. If this is how it is against bandits, then I cannot imagine how the presentation will be in wartime, and that alone makes the future of this anime look as bright as Tokiyuki's destiny. And with that is gonna bring me to the end of my list. Once again, another batch of great episodes, and looking ahead at the fall season, there are bound to be plenty more on the horizon. As always, thank you very much for watching, and make sure to let me know what your favorite episode of the season is in the comment section down below. Be safe out there until the next video.